We need in every community a group of angelic troublemakers.
This is an extraordinary evening. You are extraordinary people. And also what I say at the center when people come to our space is you enter as community and you leave as family. So welcome to the family, everybody.
By knowing something about him, Bayard Rustin, we also learned an awful lot about us as a community, because our movement, what started as the gay liberation movement and then the LGBTQ movement, is based on standing on the shoulders of all the other movements that came before us. And Rustin was part of almost every single one of those movements. The labor movement, the civil rights movement, supporting women, and ultimately the LGBTQ movement as well, and many of the others, the anti-war movement and the schools and education, and you name it, he was there. Yeah. And not only was he there, he was a force. And he transcended all those movements that have led us to this very day and give us the strength to fight back in a way that we must do, starting every day when you get up in the morning to when you go to bed at night. Think about what you can do, no matter how small. Because every action causes a reaction, and everything that we do reminds people that we are here, we have always been here, and we will always be here. So, Robert?
I want to say that what you read about, what Robert said about, and what you hopefully be inspired by Bayard Rustin, a lot of it's going to sound apocryphal. You're like, okay, that's a little over the top. There's no way you could actually emphasize enough what this cat did, who he was. He not only sat in front of a bus 10 years before Rosa, but got arrested and beaten for it. And then when he went to prison, he actually fought the entire system from within. Everything was segregated, and he made sure that there was equal treatment, and was put on a chain gang for the duration of his sentence. There wasn't a moment in his life where he didn't take the most difficult path if it meant someone else would have an easier way. And I know I'm stepping on Glen's toes because Glen is doing the Bayard Rustin piece of this piece, but I needed to. It's my life's work to preach the gospel of Bayard. And as chief activist, a title bestowed upon me by our board, it is absolutely in tribute to Bayard being the chief organizer of the march. And I hope that I can tell this one story, and I promise I'll, it's the cheese sandwiches that kills me. And I'm so glad for those of you that watched the movie on Netflix, they included that piece. But this is who he was. Without the porta potties, the transportation, and him saying, you're serving cheese sandwiches in the summer heat of DC, that's gonna really not be so good for people's tummies. So he said, let's make some peanut butter. Let's make some freaking peanut butter, right? This is how he thought. Big picture. Remember, 63, the march was not just for civil rights, but it was for jobs and freedom. He understood that economic equity and equality was essential to the movement. But I hate to say enough about Bayard because I want to give Glen the spotlight.
Thank you for joining us. I was going to say for this opening night party, but now I'm going to call it a radiant glimmer. Thank you for coming to this radiant glimmer. Thank you to Robert, Kesten, and the amazing staff here for being such generous and gracious hosts and inviting us into your space. Thank you to Robert Martin for your inspirational leadership and your beautiful words. All the words on all these boards were written by Robert Martin. And then there's this bold proposition statement right next to that panoramic view. There would be no I Have a Dream without Bayard Rustin's I Have a Plan. And that introduces you into the exhibit. We come into the main gallery, and this is what I call the Rustin 101. It's kind of his, an overview of his life and work. And then you come into the main reading room space, which is a recreation of the Utopia Neighborhood Clubhouse, which was the nerve center where Rustin planned the march up on 130th Street in West Harlem. There are copies of the original posters up on the walls. And then there's a little sort of opportunity for a selfie moment over by the desk. Where there's two photos of Rustin on the desk. If you actually look at the photo of him holding up the maps that are on the desk are copies from the Library of Congress of the maps that he was holding. And if you see in the picture the poster that's on the wall behind him, it's that poster right there on that wall. And in the other poster, he's at a demonstration, he's speaking, and the coat that he has on, there's a facsimile of it on the coat rack there. I really hope that a lot of people come to see the exhibit because they hear about it, they see it on social media, they read about it, they seek it out. But I also hope that there are a lot of people like me walking down looking for their smoothie, and they just wander in and they hear the words of Dr. King coming from the side gallery, and they get drawn in, they see that statement, they read a little bit about the introduction, and that piques their curiosity and brings them into the main gallery and then into the reading room here. And maybe, just maybe, they'll leave inspired and do some of their own angelic troublemaking.